Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपीकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की, बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, everyone.
कृष्णा तरुण। हरे कृष्णा निशा।
Hare Krishna.
All right. So again, आज a lot of people celebrated Ganesh Chaturthi, कल भी और आज भी. So happy Ganesh Chaturthi to everyone.
Thank you. Same to me.
And हम लोग, we are reading 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam right now. And yesterday we completed 2nd chapter, which is Ajāmila delivered by the Viṣṇudūtas. तो जैसा कि हम लोगों ने देखा, Ajāmila's history, he was a spiritual devotee, he gets distracted, gets into bad habits, and then Yamarāja comes to take him. And then, but because he kept the name of his son as Narayan, and the chanting of Narayan constantly he was doing, and that made Viṣṇudūtas to come and protect him from the Yamarājas, right? And then Ajāmila realized that this is what has happened. Then he went to Haridwar, and then he did the devotional service. And then Viṣṇudūtas again appeared, and Ajāmila was taken back to Godhead, right? So the importance of chanting and the importance in the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead was described, right? And so now we are reading chapter 3 from today, which is Yamarāja instructs his messengers. Yeah. So all the Yamarājas, they go back and then inform Yamarāja, and then Yamarāja speaks to the Yamarājas. And so that'll be very interesting to read. So let's start. Text from Anilji.
Shri Rajovacha Nishamya Deva Svabhatopavanitam Pratyah Kim Tanapi Dharmaraja Evam Hatagyo Vyatan Murare Nayadeshi Karyasya Vashe Janoyam. King Parikshit said, "O my lord, O Sukadev Goswami, Yamaraj is the controller of all living entities in terms of their religious and irreligious activities, but his order had been foiled when his servants, the Yamadūtas, informed him of their defeat by the Viṣṇudūtas, who had stopped them from arresting Ajāmila. What did he reply? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukadeva Goswami ji. Yeah, of course, as we know, Sukadeva Goswami ji is the one reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, yeah, at Ganga Tat to Parikshit Maharaj. And so Parikshit Maharaj is asking, what did Yamaraj, yeah, that is the Dharmraj, yeah, he told his Yamadūtas when they went back and they informed about the defeat by the Viṣṇudūtas. Evam hatagyo vihantan murare, yeah, Viṣṇudūtas. And so that's the question which Parikshit Maharaj is asking. Yeah. Ajay?
Yamasya devasya na dand bhangah कृतश्चन नर्षे श्रुतपूर्व आसीत् एतत् मुने वशन्ति लोक संशयम् न हिम त्वदन्य इति मे विनिश्चितम्. O great sage, never before has it been heard anywhere that an order from Yamarāja has been baffled. Therefore, I think that people will have doubt about this, that no one but you can eradicate. Since that is my firm conviction, kindly explain the reason for these events. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Parikshit Maharaj is saying that this will be very difficult to believe, and how the Yamaraj order was baffled. So Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukdev Goswami Ji to tell him what happened. Tarun?
Shri Shukvacha Bhagavat Purusai Rajan Yamya Pratihattodhyama Patim Vijnapayam Asur Yamam Samyamani Patim. Sri Sukdev Goswami replied, My dear king, when the order carriers of Yamaraj were baffled and defeated by the order carriers of Vishnu, they approached their master, the controller of Samyamani, Puri, and master of sinful persons, to tell him of this incident. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Yamarājas go to Yamaraj. Isha?
कति सन्तिह शास्तारो जीवलोकस्य वै प्रभो त्रैविध्यं कुर्वतः कर्म फलभिव्यक्ति हेतवः. The Yamaduta said, Our dear Lord, how many controllers or rulers are there in this material world? How many causes are responsible for manifesting the various results of activities performed under the three modes of material nature, Satogun, Rajogun, and Tamogun? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so that's the question Yamadūtas are asking Yamaraj himself. Yeah. Yadi sayurbaho loke shastaro dandadharina kasya shatam nava kasya mrityuksha amritameva. If in this universe there are many rulers and justices who disagree about punishment and reward, their contradictory actions will neutralize each other, and no one will be punished or rewarded. Otherwise, if there are contradictory act fails to neutralize each other, everyone will have to be both punished and rewarded. Yeah. So Yamadūtas are asking, who is the real authority here, right? Anilji?
किन्तु शास्त्र बहुते स्वादहूनामिहि कर्मिणां शाश्वतत्वमुपचारो हि यथा मण्डलवर्तिनाम्. The Yamadutas continued, since there are many different karmis or workers, there may be different judges or rulers to give them justice. But just as one central emperor controls different departmental rulers, there must be one supreme controller to guide all the judges. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, it says here, the Yamdūts were certain that Ajāmila was a most sinful man, right? But although Yamaraj wanted to punish him, the Viṣṇudūtas excused him. And this was a puzzling situation that the Yamdūtas wanted Yamaraj to clarify. Yeah. Ajay?
अतस्वमेको भूतानां सेश्वराणां मधीश्वरः शास्ता दंडधरो निर्णाशुभाशुभ विवेचनः. The supreme judge must be one, not many. If it was our understanding that you are the supreme judge and that you have jurisdiction over the demigods, our impression was that you are the master of all living entities,
the supreme authority who discriminates between the pious and impious activities of all human beings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So who is saying this right now? Who is talking?
Yamarāja saying to Yamarāja.
Yamarāja.
Right, yeah. So Yamarāja are saying, Yamarāja, that we thought you are the only one who is the supreme judge. Yeah. And you have jurisdiction even over the demigods, right? Even over devatas. That was the impression that he is the master of all living entities. And he is the one who decides what is pious and impious activities. Is what, yeah, Shubh, Ashubh, Vivechana hai. And he is the only Ishvara hai. So that's what Yamarāja are telling Yamarāja. Tarun?
तस्य ते विहितो दंडो न लोके वर्तते दुना चतुर्भिर्युते सिद्धये राज्ञा ते विप्रलम्भीता. But now we see that the punishment ordained under your authority is no longer effective, since your order has been transgressed by 4 wonderful and perfect persons. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Chaturubhir, like 4 wonderful and perfect persons, the Viṣṇudūtas, yeah, they pretty much eliminated the punishment from Yamarāja. So Yamarāja are asking who is the real in charge here, right? Nisha?
Niyamanam tava deshadasma bhiryatana gruhan vyamochayan patakinam chitva pashan prasayate. We were bringing the most sinful Ajāmila toward the hellish planets, following your order when those beautiful persons from Siddhaloka forcibly cut the knots of the ropes with which we were arresting him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ste veditumicchamo yadino manyase kshamam narayanetya bhite bhabherityayardatutam. As soon as the sinful Ajāmila uttered the name Narayan, these 4 beautiful men immediately arrived and reassured him, saying, "Don't fear, do not fear. We wish to know about them from your lordship. If you think we are able to understand them, kindly describe who they are." Yeah. Anilji?
Sri Bhadrayani Ruvacha iti deva sa aprashta praja sanyamano yamaha prita swadutan pratyaha smaran padam bhujam hareha. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, thus having been questioned, Lord Yamarāja, the supreme controller of the living entities, was very pleased with his order carriers because of hearing from them the holy name of Narayan. He remembered the lotus feet of the Lord and began to reply, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Yamdut remembers Shmaran Pada Ambujam Hareha. Yeah, he remembers the holy name of Narayan and the lotus feet of the Lord. And then he begins to reply to Yamdutas. Yeah? Says here, the Srila Yamarāja, the supreme controller of the living entities, in terms of their pious and impious activities, was very pleased with his servants because they had chanted the holy name of Narayan in his dominion. Yamarāja has to deal with men who are all sinful and who can hardly understand Narayan. Consequently, when his order carriers uttered the name of Narayan, he was extremely pleased, for he is also a Vaishnava. Yeah, the Yamarāja is a Vaishnava. Ajay?
Yam Uvach Paro Madanyo Jagat Isthu Shashch Uttam Prutam Pat Vadyatra Vishram Yadan Shatu Asya Sthit Janmanasha Nasto Tavadasya Vashe Chaloka. Yamarāja said, my dear servants, you have accepted me as the supreme, but factually I am not. Above me and above all the other demigods, including Indra and Chandra, is the one supreme master and controller. The partial manifestation of his personality are Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, who are in charge of the creation, maintenance and annihilation of the universe. He is like the two threads that form the length and breadth of a woven cloth. The entire world is controlled by him, just as a bull is controlled by a rope in his nose. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so what Yamarāja is saying to Yamarūtas, that you think I am the supreme, but I am not. Yeah. Above him, there is one supreme master and controller, Adi Anadi Govinda, right? And he is the one who controls the whole universe. And he's saying that there are partial manifestations of Supreme Personality of God, and those partial manifestations are Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Yeah. I think this is a good purport, so let's read this, Tarun.
The order carriers of Yamarāja suspected that there was a ruler even above Yamarāja. To eradicate their doubts, Yamarāja immediately replied, "Yes, there is one supreme controller above everything. Yamarāja is in charge of some of the moving living entities, namely the human beings, but the animals who also move are not under his control. Only human beings have consciousness of right and wrong, and among them only those who perform sinful activities come under the control of Yamarāja. Therefore, although Yamarāja is a controller, is only a departmental controller of a few living entities. There are other demigods who control many other departments, but above them all is one supreme controller, Krishna. Ishvara Paramaha Krishnaha Satchinananda Vigraha. The supreme controller is Krishna. Others who control their own departments in the affairs of the universe are insignificant in comparison to Krishna, the supreme controller. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.7, Mata Parataram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. My dear Dhananjaya, Arjuna, no one is superior to me. Therefore, Yamarāja immediately cleared away the doubts of his assistants, the Yamarūtas, by confirming that there is a supreme controller above all others. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nisha? Nisha?
मुझे बोलो.
हाँ.
Srila Madhavacharya explains that the words Otam Protam refer to cause of all causes. The Supreme Lord is both vertical and horizontal to the cosmic manifestation. This is confirmed by the following verse from the Skanda Purana. Yatha Kanta Pata Sutra Ota Prota Chasa Stitaha Evam Vaishnav Idar Vishwam Otam Protam Cha Samasthitam. Like the two threads, horizontal or vertical, of which a quilt is manufactured, Lord Vishnu is situated as the vertical and horizontal cause of the cosmic manifestation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So basically, Yamarāja is telling all the Yamarūtas that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is the supreme controller. Yeah? Yo nama bhirvachi janam nijaya Bhadanati tantrya dama bhirgaya Yasme balim me nam karma Nibandha bhadakshya chakitala vahanti. Just as a driver of a bullock cart ties ropes through the nostrils of his bulls to control them, the Supreme Personality of Godhead binds all men through the ropes of his words in the Vedas, which set forth the names and activities of the distinct orders of human society, like Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. In fear, the members of these orders all worship the Supreme Lord by offering him presentations according to their respective activities. Anilji?
अहम महेन्द्रो निष्कृतिर प्रचेताः सोमोऽग्निरीशः पवनो विरिञ्चिः आदित्य विश्वे वसवोऽथ साध्या मरुद्गणा रुद्रगणा ससिद्धाः अन्ये च ये विश्वसृजो मरेशा भृगवादयो स्पृष्ट रजतस्तमस्काः यस्य हितं न विदुः स्पृष्टमायाः सत्त्वप्रधाना अपि किं ततोऽन्ये. I, Yamarāja, Indra, the king of heaven, Niruti, Varuna, Chandra, the moon god, Agni, Lord Shiva, Pavan, Lord Brahma, Surya, the sun god, Vishavasu, the eight Basu, the Sadhyas, the Maruts, the Rudras, the Siddhas, and Marichis, and the other great rishis engaged in maintaining the departmental affairs of the universe, as well as the best of the demigods headed by Brahaspati and the great sages headed by Bhrigu are all certainly freed from the influence of the two base material modes of nature, namely passion and ignorance. Nevertheless, although we are in the mode of goodness, we cannot understand the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then is to be said of others who, under illusion, merely speculate to know God? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Sachin.
Hare Krishna.
Sachin, you know we changed the timings to 9:30. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. Yes.
I want to make sure. Okay.
Yam vaina gobhir manasa subhirva hruda gira vasubhruto vichakshata shate atman mantar hrudi santam atmanam chakshurya thaiva krutayas tatah param. As the different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes, the living entities cannot see the Supreme Lord, who is situated as a super soul in everyone's heart, not by the senses, by the mind, by the life air, by thoughts within the heart, or by the vibration of words, can the living entities ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. How do you identify the body here? So let's read this. Anilji?
Yeah. Although the different parts of the body do not have the power to see the eyes direct the movements of the body's different parts. The legs move forward because the eyes see what is in front of them, and the hand touches because the eyes see touchable entities. Similarly, every living being acts according to the direction of the Supersoul, who is situated within the heart, as the Lord Himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasya Chaham Hradi Sannivisto Mataha Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. I am sitting in everyone's heart and giving directions for remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hridadase Rujana Tisthati. The Supreme Lord, as the Super Soul, is situated within the heart. The living entity cannot do anything without the sanction of the Super Soul. The Super Soul is acting at every moment, but the living entity cannot understand the form and activities of the Super Soul by manipulating his senses. The example of the eyes and the bodily limbs is very appropriate. If the limbs could see, they could walk forward without the help of the eyes, but that is impossible. Although one cannot see the Super Soul in one's heart through sensual activities, his direction is necessary. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Ajay,
Sorry. तस्यात्मनत्रस्य हरेर्धीशितुः परस्य मायाधिपतेर्महन् महात्मनः प्रायेणा दूता इह वै मनोहराश्रन्ति तद्रूप गुण स्वभावा. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient and fully independent. He is master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energy. He has his form, qualities, and features, and similarly his order carriers, the Vaishnavas, who are very beautiful, possess bodily features, transcendental qualities, and a transcendental nature almost like his. They always wander within this world with full independence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mhm.
Should I read?
Yeah.
Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Durdarsha Lingani Mahadbhutani Rakshanti Tad Bhaktimata Parebhyo Matascha Martayan Atha Sarvastra Cha. The order carriers of Lord Vishnu, who are worshipped even by the demigods, possess wonderful bodily features exactly like those of Vishnu and are very rarely seen. The Viṣṇudūtas protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies, from envious persons, and even from my jurisdiction, as well as from natural disturbances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah? So Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani. Yeah? So the Lord Vishnu is worshipped by everyone, including all the devatas as well. Yeah. And it says Rakshanti Tad Bhakti Mata Parebhyo. Means the Viṣṇudūtas protect the devotees of the Lord. Yeah, from all the calamities. Yeah. Nisha?
Dharmam tu sakshat bhagvat pranitam na vay vidurshyo napi devah na siddha mukhya asura manushyaha kutonu vidyachara charanadeha. Real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of the Siddhaloka, to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, Vidyadharas and Charanas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So basically, Dharmraj is telling all the Yamdutas, right, that all the real religious principles, like we read, right, Dharm kya hai, Adharm kya hai, these are all enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, all the Vedas is coming from him. And then what he's saying is, like, nobody else, even rishis who are occupying the topmost planets, as we know, there are 14 planets, yeah, she's 3 bhuvan and then 14 lok hai, right, 14 loks, as we know. Nobody can ascertain the religious principles, no one, even devatas and even the leaders of Siddhalok, yeah, and big rishi munis, nobody can ascertain the religious principles, only Vedas, which are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nisha?
स्वयंभूर्नारदः शम्भुः कुमारः कपिलो मनुः प्रह्लादो जनको भीष्मो बलिर्वयासकीर्वयम्. त्वादशेते विजानीमो धर्मं भागवतं भटाः गुह्यं विशुद्धं दुर्बोधं यं ज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते. Lord Brahma, Bhagwan Narad, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, Lord Kapil, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhu Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Sukadev Goswami, and I myself know the real religious principle. My dear servants, this transcendental religious principle, which is known as Bhagavad Dharma, or surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him, is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. It is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand, but if by chance one fortunately understands it, he is immediately liberated, and thus he returns home back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. What Yamarāja are saying is, who knows what is the dharma? Yeah. So coming from Supreme Personality of Godhead, I think there are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, right? So there are only few personalities who can actually explain what is dharma. Yeah. And in those few personalities, you have like Lord Brahma, you have Narad Rishi Muni, Lord Shiva, the four Kumars, right? The Sanat Kumars, Lord Kapil Dev, who is the son of Devahuti, if you remember, son of Devahuti, and who is the father of Kapil Muni? Remember?
Karda Muni.
Karda Muni, right? So if you remember, Karda Muni got married to Devahuti, and Devahuti was daughter of
Brahmaji.
Shambhu Manu.
Shambhu Manu.
Shambhu Manu had a daughter, Devahuti, and we know that Devahuti had 9 daughters who got married to the other Rishi Munis, right? And of course, she gave birth to Lord Kapil, who was none other than the manifestation of Lord Vishnu himself, right? And then Shambhu Manu had 2 sons, Uttanpad and Priyavrat, whose stories we read, right? And then Shambhu Manu himself, then Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, the Bhishma Pitama, Bali Maharaj, and Sukadev Goswami. And who is the I here?
Yamarāja.
Yamarāja, yeah, because Yamarāja is speaking this. So they only know the real religious principle. So none other than those. That's why if you remember when Bhishma Pitama, was about to give away the body, before that, all the Rishi Munis had gathered and they were asking Bhishma Pitama to, inform them what is dharma. And then if you remember, Bhishma Pitama had given a big lecture on what dharma is. Okay. And then, so the Bhagavad Dharma is surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him, is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. So those 3 modes of material nature, and then the devotional service is above those 3 modes of nature. And whoever understands this and gets into the devotional service, he is immediately liberated and returns home back to Godhead, is what Yamarāja is saying. Yeah. Sachin?
In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna refers to Bhagavad Dharma as the most confidential religious principle. Sarva guhyatmam guhyataram. Krishna says to Arjuna, because you are my very dear friend, I am explaining to you the most confidential religion, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mama Ekam Saranam Vraja. Give up all other duties and surrender unto me. One may ask, if this principle is very rarely understood, what is the use of it? In answer, Yamarāja states herein that This religious principle is understandable if one follows the parampara system of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, and other standard authorities. There are 4 lines of disciplic succession, one from Lord Brahma, one from Lord Shiva, one from Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and one from the Kumaras. The disciplic succession from Lord Brahma is called Brahma Sampradaya. The succession from Lord Shiva, Shambhu, is called the Rudra Sampradaya. The one from goddess of fortune Lakshmi ji is called Shri Sampradaya. And the one from the Kumaras is called Kumar Sampradaya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, few important facts mentioned here. One is, of course, we have all read in Srimad Bhagavatam, Sarva Dharma Paritajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja, is what Lord Krishna is telling Arjun, that you give away all other thought processes, all other religious thought process, and just surrender unto Lord Sri Krishna, right? And then this dharma is explained by, there are authorities, right? How it has come from Vedas and from Lord Vishnu, and then it has come from 4 sampradayas. So if you really see in this world, right, not anyone can be just declared Jagat Guru, and anyone can just give his authority on the religion, right? There are 4 sampradayas which are there, right? It says there are 4 lines of disciplic succession, parampara system. And those 4 lines of disciplic succession comes from, one from Lord Brahma, one from Lord Shiva, one from Lakshmi ji, right? And the one from Sanat Kumars. Yeah, I think we should remember this. There are 4 lines of parampara succession, which comes from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Goddess Lakshmi, and Sanat Kumars. Yeah, and then the disciplic succession from Lord Brahma is called Brahma Sampradaya. And if you are following the Hare Krishna movement and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right, and Swami Prabhupada, this is the disciplic succession of Lord Brahma. Yeah, so this is the Brahma Sampradaya. And then you have succession from Lord Shiva, Sambhu. So you will find that there is a Rudra Sampradaya, right? So who are the succession of Lord Shiva? That's where you will see a lot of Mahatmas, meditating on Lord Shiva, and then they are part of the Rudra Sampradaya. And there's another one which is called a Sri Sampradaya, which is, you'll find Lord in South India mostly, right, where you'll get a Sri Sampradaya, yeah, where they follow the goddess Lakshmi's parampara. And then the one from Kumars is called, Sanat Kumars is called Kumar Sampradaya. So there are 4 sampradayas. You should always see, if there is a Sant or Mahatma, he should be at least from one of those disciplic successions. That is the first criteria which one should look for if you are looking for a good Mahatma or Sadhu. Yeah. So, yeah, let's continue reading this, Tarun.
One must take shelter of one of these 4 sampradayas in order to understand the most confidential religious system. In the Padma Purana, it is said, Sampradaya Vihina Ye Mantraste Nishpala Mata. If one does not follow the 4 recognized disciplinic successions, his mantra or initiation is useless. In the present day, there are many upper sampradayas or sampradayas which are not bona fide, which have no link to authorities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, the Kumaras, or Lakshmi. People are misguided by such sampradayas. The Shastras say that being initiated in such a sampradaya is a useless waste of time, for it will never enable one to understand the real religious principles. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, that's why the disciplic succession is very, very important. Anilji?
एतावानेव लोकेऽस्मिन् पुंसां धर्मः परास्मतः भक्तियोगो भगवती तन्नाम गणादिभिः. Devotional service, beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in human society. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Who is speaking right now?
Yamarāja.
Yamarāja, yeah. So Yamarāja is continuously telling to Yamadūtas that devotional service beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. That's why they're asking the question, right? Like how Ajāmila, just by chanting the Lord name of Narayan, Lord Narayan, yeah, he was taken away by the Viṣṇudūtas. And that's where Yamarāja is telling devotional service beginning with the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the ultimate religious principle for the living entity in the human society. Yeah, it says here Bhakti Yogo Bhagavati Tannam Grihana Dibhi. Yeah, that is the ultimate religious principle. And actually, the nice purpose. We are going to pause here. Yeah, and we are going to continue reading this beautiful explanation given by Yamarāja to Yamadūtas. Yeah, and Yamarāja himself is authority on the religious principles, as we saw. And we read almost 10 or 11 names who are the authorities on the religious principles. Remember some of the names?
Lord
Right?
Shiva, Lord Kapil,
Lord Shiva, Lord Kapil, Lord Brahma, Sanat Kumars.
Manu.
Who is that?
Bhishma, grandfather Bhishma.
Bhishma Pitama, right? Yeah. And yeah, of course, the Dharmaraj himself are the Maharaj Bali, even Bhakta Prahlad, they are also,
Naradji.
of course, Narad Muni. Yeah. So those are the ultimate authority on the religious principles. They all come from Lord Vishnu. Yeah. The ultimate religious principle is chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu. Yeah. Lord Krishna. So we'll pause here and we'll continue reading this very nice chapter. And then, of course, today is Ganesh Chaturthi, and it was since yesterday, of course. And so we are going to hear Ganesh Stuti. And
विकटरूपधारिणं देववृन्दवन्दितं स्मरामि विघ्नहारकं मम बन्धमोचकम्। सुराणां प्रधानं मूषकवाहनं रिद्धिसिद्धिसंयुतं भालचन्द्रशोभनं ज्ञानिनां वरिष्ठम् इष्टफलप्रदायकं सदा भावयामि त्वं सगुणरूपधारिणम्। सर्वविघ्नहारकं समस्तविघ्नवर्जितं विकटरूपशोभनं मनोजदर्पमर्दनं सगुणरूपमोहनं गुणत्रयातीतं नमामि ते मम प्रियगणेशं। नमामि ते मम प्रियगणेशं। नमामि ते मम प्रियगणेशम्।
Yeah, and then we'll also hear the Ganesh Aarti from Siddhivinayak temple. Yeah, the Siddhivinayak temple in Mumbai, and from none other than Amitabh Bachchan's voice. Yeah, you might have seen that, but since it's Ganesh Chaturthi, let's see that. Yeah. Yeah.
सुखकर्ता दुःखहर्ता वार्ता विघ्नाची गुरुवी पूर्वी प्रेम कृपा जयाची सर्वांगी सुंदर उटिशेंदुराची कंठी झळके माळ मुक्ता फळांची जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय देव रत्न खचित फरा दुज गौरी कुमरा चंदनाची उठी कुमकुम केशरा हिरे जडित मुकुट शोभतो बरा ऋण सुरती नूपुरे चरणी घागरिया जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय देव लंबोदर पीतांबर फणिवर बंधना सरळ सुंड वक्रतुंड त्रिनयना दासरामाचा वाट पाहे सदना संकटी पावावे निर्वाणी रक्षावे सुरवर वंदना जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती जय देव जय देव मुख को, दो दिल लाल बिराजे सुत गौरी हर को, हाथ लिए गुड़ लड्डू साईं सुरवर को, महिमा कहे न जाए लागत हूँ पद को। जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता, धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता। जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता, धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता। जय देव जय देव। अष्टौ सिद्धि दासी संकट को बैरी, विघ्न विनाशन मंगल मूरत अधिकारी, कोटि सूरज प्रकाश ऐसी छवि तेरी, खंडस्थल मदमस्तक चुले शशि बिहारी। जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता, धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता। जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता, धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता। जय देव जय देव। भाव भगत से कोई शरणागत आवे, संतत संपत सब ही भरपूर पावे, ऐसे तुम महाराज मोको अति भावे, गोसावी नंदन निश दिन गुण गावे। जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता, धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता। जय देव जय देव जय जय जी गणराज विद्या सुखदाता, धन्य तुम्हारो दर्शन मेरा मन रमता। जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति, दर्शन मात्रे मान कामना पूर्ति। जय देव जय देव जय देव जय देव जय मंगल मूर्ति, दर्शन मात्रे मान कामना पूर्ति। जय देव जय देव।
Right? So enjoy the Ganesh Puja, the Ganesh Chaturthi, and I know next few days. And we'll see you tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Yeah?
See you tomorrow. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.